You're watching Pyro Media Network.
I could be running around chasing you, but I won't. Cause I got better things to do. Rather spend my precious time chasing somebody who loves me too. If I got $1 for every time you slam the door, I would be the richest girl alive. If you hadn't run away every time I asked you stay, you would sleep right next to me tonight. But you didn't know me, all you wanted was a game to play, and you couldn't handle that I had my ways. Around your matrix and your side chicks, I'm a winner, babe. But you didn't win this.
Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience is fruitful. Please feel free to visit our website to find out how you can join our growing family. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. Also, share so others may enjoy as well. And we hope you would consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. All right, let's start the show.
Victorious! Victorious! Hey. Happy Friday, Junior, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Dr. Victorious. I am Dr. Victorious, Dr. Nicole D. Vick. Dr. Victorious is where we explore the intersections of social justice, wellness, and what it means to show up fully human, fully Black human, for real, because I'm Black, and that's the experience that I speak from, so that's just how it's going to be. We have a fabulous episode this week. We were supposed to go on last week, but stuff was happening and shenanigans, and then I got sick. It was just a lot going on. So please excuse me if I look a little dry. I've been blowing my nose for 7 whole days. 7 whole days blowing my nose. I ain't got no more Kleenex. I had to use toilet paper. It's a lot going on right now, okay? It's hot. I'm sweating. So we still going to make this work. And it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right because Kendrick said it would be. And yes, that's what I'm going with. But anyway, I'm really excited about today's episode. You know me, y'all. I'm always talking to people, meeting people. And I always happen to find either someone with the kindred spirit or a fellow Trojan. It's one of the two. And you'll see and learn more about that a little bit later. But before we go too much further, we have to do the scroll stroll. Now, listen, this scroll stroll was from last week, but listen, and the crazy thing is I was going to say ain't much change, but at the same time, a lot has changed, but I feel like these are still relevant. So we're going to use these again. So the first one is Target and they tripping ways, okay? So, and it really, if you think about it, it's really not Target that's tripping in this particular instance. Pastor dude, Jamal guy, had went on TV and was like, the boycott is over. The boycott is over. And I feel like the Black contingency on social media was like, what? That's who told you what? How? If you didn't start the boycott, how are you ending the boycott? If you didn't create the thing, how are you uncreating the thing? Who made you the champion of the Target boycott? So he went on and was like, yeah, it's over. And of course, he had to backtrack because everybody was like, two things. First of all, you didn't even create this boycott. First of all, so how can you call something off that you didn't start? And then second, everybody else was like, we don't care what you say. It's F Target forever. And I promise you, people were saying that on social media. Like, I'm never coming back. you won't ever see me again. So I feel like that was a weird little situation there. And I'm glad he did kind of, bring it back a little bit, because I feel like he was tripping in that moment. So, and I think there's other things that he's doing that people are kind of like side-eyeing him for. But that's a whole nother conversation for another day. Then this next one. I know people have this thing about Chat GPT and what is it called? Regenerative AI, and all the concerns and things that are happening, at least from an environmental perspective, right? They use a lot of water, they use a lot of power. But then there's the other side of it, right? Some of the ethical issues. I just saw a woman say that she has a Chat GPT or AI boyfriend. And I was like, wait, I might have to think about that. But anyway, this particular woman was like, my Chat GPT was starting to tell me things like I'm 27,000 years old, and was giving it all this information, and she really believed that. I think Chat was telling her like, you're going to meet your special someone on a specific date and time, and she really like believed it. So I'm really interested in this sort of, I don't know what they're going to call it. The sociologists and the psychiatrists and the psychologists are going to have to call this something. Is it AI psychosis? Like, what is it? How are you having an AI boyfriend? How are you listening to AI and believing it and actually having a relationship with a thing that's literally a computer? So I'm sure we're going to have more of these stories pop up. But I saw that and I was like, ma'am. And also, side note, to me, this also is a reminder of check on your people. Like, a lot of times people are isolated and they fall into this stuff because they're isolated. We had to figure out how to get more into community with folks, because somebody needs to come in that house and pull the plug on that computer or turn off the Wi-Fi so that this is not happening. So that's And then the last one was just for me, an affirmation that I want y'all to really call into your spirit for like the next, I don't know, year or so. I saw this on Threads and I was like, amen, in a whole word. It says, I call my energy back from every room where I betrayed myself to belong. And I know you know that you have been in a space and been up in there, or were fighting to get into a space and then realize, I ain't supposed to be in here. Why am I here? Why do I feel like? And thankfully, maybe you pulled yourself out. But I really love that, because it really gives you an opportunity to forgive yourself. Because sometimes we do stuff and then it's like, no, why did I do that? And so I love that affirmation. And I want y'all to hold on to that in your spirit over this next week, month, year, because I think it was really, really thoughtful. We're going to go to commercial, and then I'm going to bring on my very, very special guest. I am so excited. So we'll see you in a few moments.
This is Tammy from Tammy's Take, and you're watching Pyro Media Network.
Hey, it's Pastor Kim from It's Just Kim Live Show, and you're watching Pyro Media Network.
And we are back. And my bad, Cyrus was commenting and I wasn't even paying no attention. Hi, Cyrus. And thank you. Yes, I feel like that was such a word. I'm definitely like, again, it just kind of, you know how something, you read something, it's like, that's what I do. And my daughter laughs at me. She said, that is hilarious. I thought you was the only one that did that, but you're not. I said it's definitely a Black woman, Gen X and older. So it kind of hit like that. And I was like, I have to share this with everybody else because I felt like it was really powerful. All right. So I had this brilliant idea because all my ideas are brilliant. I'm just kidding. But from time to time on this show, I want to bring on people whose work is quietly or not so quietly transforming our communities. People who may not always be in the spotlight, but whose impact deserves to be seen and celebrated. So I'm calling this our Someone You Should Know series, where we highlight change makers doing meaningful work. And today I am excited to bring to you someone you should absolutely know. And before we get too far into it, real quick, again, I told y'all I'm always talking. I don't know. I just be places and I feel like people are positioned or I'm positioned in the right space to meet the right people at the right time. A friend of mine and I decided to go to this vegan food festival thing because, you know, I'm vegan and she's not vegan, but she eats vegan a lot of the time. So we have that in common. And we looking at all the food and getting hyped because, you know, we like food. Like, come on. And we start walking. Saw somebody with a USC sweatshirt. I don't know about you. Maybe whatever school you went to, you see somebody with the school shirt on. Hey, I got to talk to you. So we immediately were like, hey, how are you? Who are you? So we're going to talk to Francia Telesford and hear about her business and what she is doing to make change in our community. So let's bring her on and we just gonna jump on into it. Let's go. Hey.
Hello.
I'm so excited to have you. I'm so excited, so very excited. From the moment I met you, me and Josie, you know, that's my road dog. We always going somewhere eat some vegan food. So if you saw that sweatshirt, like I said, it's always anytime we get that clue of a Trojan, and you black, because it's only like 5 of us, right? What's more than, but I mean, ain't that many of us. So it's like, wait a minute. So we were really excited to meet you, talk a little bit about what you were doing that day, and then we can kind of jump into what your company is about.
Oh, yes. Thank you for having me, first of all. I'm so happy to be here. And yeah, I had my USC social work sweatshirt on that actually won like right before I started my master's program. But yes, we were at the vegan event with the plant-based. And so I was vending my products and sharing my services for maternal health for women and moms. And so, yeah, when y'all came up, it was just like, okay, USC, you know. And then, and I think I let you guys know I was a Brojan too. So I was like, don't get mad. So, but yeah, yes.
We forgive you for that. I mean, and I think I told you I have friends that are the Brojan. So for those of you who are like, what is she talking about? Some folks are not like me because y'all know I'm a triple Trojan. I went all the way through. I'm a pure Brit, like the whole thing. Some people go to UCLA, the school over there, and then they come over to the other side, or vice versa. So it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
You figured it out.
Yeah, shout out USC social work, you know. So,
and you know what's so cool? Really cool thing I'll say right quick before we jump into what you're doing. And then we talked about this even that day, how closely aligned social work is to public health, like some of the ideas of social justice and really focusing on the economic and the social conditions of people and how that impacts their health, their mental health. So I've always had a little bit of interest, like maybe I should have went the social work route, because I feel like there is some overlap in that work.
Yeah, I mean, most definitely. Even what I really liked about the social work program at USC is that when I was there, they definitely made sure that you were in every realm. So when you talk about the public policy and all that stuff, that's like macro social work. So knowing that it's not just the individual, it's the systems that are around the person that are impacting them, and how they are reacting, how they're, you know, accessing resources. So, is it depression or is it, financial issues? I can't get a job. There's all these different things that are pressing on the person, that can cause them to be depressed and have anxiety. So, yeah.
See, some of the same stuff we talk about. So I feel like when I was looking at your website, and going through like some of the stuff on, the information, there was a conversation about lived experience and your personal journey. Can you talk about how that, if it did, had any impact on you starting your business?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Gracelamp Wellness it's a combination of the meanings of my daughter's name. So one daughter, her name means lamp of the Lord. The other one, her name means God's grace. And I started the business actually inspired by my postpartum depression journey. So with my second daughter, I ended up having postpartum depression. And there was a lot of surprise and shame in regards to that because I didn't have postpartum with my first. And then also being a social worker, being someone who's helping everyone. And then like, how did this happen to me and stuff like that. So I just, started the business as I thought about, how I was feeling during that time. I felt a lot of like fog. I felt a lot of darkness. I felt just anxiety. And I just thought of, okay, what would I have wanted to receive when I was going through this? What are some things that were lacking? So, I did get support services, but, when I was going to get those supports, the people didn't look like me. It still helped me through my journey. But, Gracelamp, I started to, basically help moms to feel less alone, to feel less ashamed about admitting that they are having mental health issues in motherhood. And so it's just really expanded to even beyond postpartum, to just motherhood in general. Motherhood can be joyful, but it can be overwhelming. It can be isolating. And so that's what Gracelamp is. There's products and there's services to support moms in that space of feeling overwhelmed, the space of joy. You could talk about that too, but then also feeling less guilty about, focusing on yourself and knowing that you deserve care and wellness. Yeah.
That's amazing. And I think it's a lot to be said about being, to some degree, open enough to be willing to share or to use or leverage your lived experience to help other people. Because I think sometimes it can be really a totally natural thing to be like, this is something that happened to me and I want to keep that close to my heart. That's not to share, right? But for someone to say, this happened to me and I don't want this to happen to someone else, or I want to make sure that people, if it does happen to them, they have the help that they need. I think that says a lot about you, right, as an individual. And also, I don't know, I think as us as Black women, right, I think we tend to have that in our spirit, like, no, if I can save you from walking, like, girl, don't go that way. Just go this way. Like, don't do this. Cause I'm like that too. Like, all right, y'all want to do this kind of career move. I'm telling you now before you get in it, this is what it's going to be. And that's okay. But I'm going to try to help you guard your heart while you're doing the work. So I think that is so amazing. And I'm sure the women that you are working with are forever grateful for your service and your work. And something you also said that was interesting to me is that the people that were there to help, or the sources or the resources there, the folks didn't look like you, and how significant that is. Because like you said, it's not that they couldn't help you or didn't help you. I think it's just different when you don't have to explain yourself, right? Where if you're talking to that person, they already know, like, okay, I got you, right? Like, can we talk about that too, the significance of this being, and I don't know if and maybe answer this question, is this specifically for Black women? And if it is, why was that so important for it to be that?
Yeah. Thank you for those questions. And even, to speak to what you were saying about just as Black women, how we end up taking on things that we've suffered through to help others. That's definitely true. So, suffer through having lactation issues. Oh, you know what? While I'm pregnant, let me, get my CLE. Oh, have postpartum. You know what? Let me go ahead and get certified in, maternal mental health. Even in childhood, like, all right, I'm having these traumas, etc. Let me go ahead and pursue a degree that helps people to go through or, feel better about their trauma. But specifically, in speaking about the spaces that I was in, so even for like lactation issues, I got a lactation counselor who didn't look like me, but was very helpful and actually encouraged me to, pursue learning how to do lactation. But then when I went to the space of going to a support group for maternal mental health, I was the only Black woman there. It definitely helped me. And there was like a sense of, okay, we're all going through the same thing, regardless of what we look like, we're all going through the same, depression, anxiety, and all of that. So there was a comfort and community there, but then there was also space in there where things happen where it's like, all right, well, I shouldn't have to explain myself as a Black woman. I shouldn't have to um, make sure that that I need to be seen and heard just as much as you do. So there were some little instances of that happened as well. And so for the space that I make, so for example, I do mommy wellness support groups online, and then I do them in person every other month. So I am targeting Black women because uh, we don't get as much care. There's always some story every time about some woman, a Black woman dying in childbirth, about us just not having the same type of care due to racism, all these biases and stuff like that. So while I do have, different women that come and be a part of the group, it's not all Black women. However, I am targeting Black women so that they can get the care because, as a matter of fact, Black women are more susceptible to maternal mental health issues. 1 in 5 women will have postpartum, and then for Black women, it's like 40% of us, end up having those issues as well. So it is a space where Black women can feel like they are seen and heard by someone that's gone through it that looks like them. And there's other women, like I mentioned, that come as well. It's not excluding them. However, Black women need to know that they can show up here and be seen and heard and feel safe here.
Amazing. And I think, especially for us as Black women, things like postpartum mental health, like, so I only had one child and I had my child. So, I mean, she almost 30 years old. And every time I say that, she's like, please, I'm not that old. She's 29. She'll be 29 next week. So
well, you look amazing.
I was like, she'll be like, excuse me, I'm not 30 yet. She'll be 29 next week. But it's like, I had her so long ago and I was so young. Stuff like postpartum mental health and things like that really weren't on my radar. And they probably should have been even then, because I was in school, I was in college, I was doing like a lot, and I was young and I was trying to make stuff make sense. So like, what do you think people misunderstand about postpartum mental health? I mean, maybe the first thing is people don't realize that it's a thing beyond postpartum depression. But I wonder, like, what do they not get that they need to know?
I think, exactly what you said. Sometimes and especially as a Black woman, you're just kind of like, I gotta get this done. Like, I'm not feeling great, but I need to get this done. And we just kind of power through and just, are falling apart, but then we're together enough to help everybody else and everything. And so something to know is just that even if you don't, there's a PHQ-9 that you can take. There's questions that you can take to specifically say, oh, I have postpartum depression or anxiety, But something I, would tell clients when I used to do therapy for maternal mental health is like, even if you didn't score as having postpartum mental health or depression or anxiety, if you're not feeling right and you're not feeling okay, you are experiencing maternal mental health issues. And I hear that a lot from moms that have older kids, that have adult kids. They're like, oh my gosh, now that you say that, I did have that, but I just didn't have a name for it. I didn't feel okay, but I just kept going. And I think even just as women in general, we're just taught to continue like, okay, well, that's your role. Like, oh, you're overwhelmed. Okay, well, keep taking care of the kids, keep doing all of these things. And we're taught that when something is quote unquote wrong, there's something wrong with us, instead of, okay, well, if there's something wrong, actually, I need some community, I need some help, I need some support.
Yeah. And I think, like you said, we're always sort of trained or taught, just keep going, just push.
Mhm.
And it's so funny now. I actually am starting to regret this. The title of my first book was called Push Through, right? Or Pushing Through. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I need to write another book saying, no, don't push through. Call the doctor, get help, right? Because I think pushing through, which is what we've often been taught to do, is actually harmful to us in a lot of ways, right? It can be helpful, but I think in a lot of ways it can be harmful. Or we tend to think, well, it'll just go away. If I just keep going, it'll just go away. And it's not always the answer. So I don't know. I feel like we have to do a lot more work, especially for us as Black women, like you said, who are used to like, we just gonna get this done. I don't have time to be depressed. I don't, because work, and I just have to go. We have to do a better job of saying we stop. Like, nothing is more important right now than you. Let's get this figured out and create those support systems. So again, I keep saying this, but I'm like, thank you, because you're a person that's providing that sort of support, where a lot of times we just don't have it or have the wherewithal to even, know where to look for it. What changes would you like to see in maternal health care, specifically for Black women? Like, if you could do things differently than what they are now, what would you like to see happen differently?
I mean, I definitely feel like there's a lot of work being done to make maternal mental health care and healthcare in general for Black women better. There's a lot of push, and there's a lot of policies that have been, passed and stuff like that. However, every year it's the same thing. Every year we're still going through the same thing. Every year we're still advocating for ourselves. Every year we're still having the same conversations, where, like I said, Black women are dying. We're not being believed for our symptoms. We're having to over explain. And so that is why we just push through. We're just like, okay, well, then they're not going to listen to me anyway. Let me just go ahead and do this. I even remember when I had my second daughter. So I had a C-section both times, and same doctor. But with my second daughter, I had a different, like a more traumatic recovery. So like, my first daughter had my C-section, I was walking around, and I didn't even really the pain meds after I discharged and everything. Before my second daughter, they gave you like 30 days. I used all those 30 days. I was in pain. I had edema up and down my legs, my breasts. Come to find out, they had given me too much IV fluid. And I also was having pain in my incision. And I kept talking to my doctor, like, okay, I don't know what's going on. My legs are still swollen. Can I get a scan? Can I, and it's almost like she got mad at me for questioning, can you please refer me to get a scan for my legs to make sure I don't have a blood clot? I'm feeling pulling in my C-section. I feel this pain underneath. And it just was so frustrating to have to even call the office and say, like, I'm a social worker. I know that I'm experiencing postpartum depression. Do you guys have any referrals for me? No referrals. So I had to make sure that I connected with Postpartum Support International. Thank God, like I had like a pamphlet, and then I just, followed up, and that's how I got connected. But it's just a lot. So what I want to see change is us not having to explain as much, just being believed. Just even if we're wrong, like, okay, let me just see you and just check you out. It shouldn't cause anxiety for me to have to figure out, let me find a provider that's going to believe me. Let me try to explain my symptoms exactly so that they don't think that I'm lying. And it's just an ongoing thing that, as much as there is goodness out there fighting for it to not be the case, it continues to happen. So.
And it is devastating because, like you said, it's not just a matter of, oh, maybe I had a not so great experience. My delivery story was not so good. It's not even that. It's like you said, there are women that go in alive and then they come out and they don't come out, right? Or their babies don't make it. And we've seen stories recently. Maybe was that this year or was that last year when that woman had dang near delivered the baby in like the waiting room, right? Because the doctor, she was in pain and she was like, I need help, and they were kind of nonchalant about it. Or the other woman that was like, no, I'm like, I need to deliver. And they sent her away, and her and her husband were in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up delivering the baby in the car. Like,
Yeah.
what happened? And so
Right.
it's those kinds of stories. Or even locally here in Los Angeles, I know there was a couple of at least, I think one, I know for sure, a woman that went in and she didn't come out a lot. Something happened and it was really a bad situation. So
Right.
yeah, I hear you, because it's like, how do you change a system? And everybody that is listening right now or watches me knows how I go into my public health spiel. When we know what these systems were created and based and founded on, and I'm sure even in your social work world, right? These systems were not designed with us in mind at all. And so, and have actively been harming us for centuries. How do you begin to even chip at that? And so I feel you. I think that if we could make this thing work in the way that it is intended to, it would be amazing. You wouldn't have these issues. But every time you turn around, funding is being cut. Oh, now we don't have enough doctors. The doctors are not culturally competent. All these things seem to kind of converge. And then you end up with what we have, which is a really crazy healthcare system. I don't know if I ever told you, when I broke my ankle, side story, took 3 months for somebody I'm like, hello, my ankle is broken. And I went to doctor, and there's like, yeah, I can't fix your ankle. Oh, how are you an orthopedic surgeon if you can't fix my ankle? So, and I'm just like you, very much healthcare adjacent, very much knowledgeable, and still could not navigate that system in the right way, and still got treated crazy. So
and even recently there was a woman, they denied, I think I don't know if she had 2 doulas or a doula and a midwife, and they denied them access to her assisting her with her childbirth, and made them leave. So even that, where it's like, we try to make systems to help us, to make sure that we're safe and all of that, and that we have the joy and we have the births, the safe births that we really want and desire, and then it's still rejected. So you're constantly on alert, and even just even questioning, if you do see a provider and they're telling you, oh, well, it's this thing. Okay, is it really? Let me Google it and make sure, because there is your automatic is not to go in there and trust, unfortunately. But my hope is, that with, all the systems that we do have that are against us, that we definitely have systems that are for us. And, little by little, we can spread that joy, that safety, all those things, as much as we can. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And then one final question, and then we're going to kind of close out, and I want to hear your final thoughts. But before we do that, what can communities do better when it comes to supporting mothers? So we talked about the healthcare system, and it is what it is, right? Like, but what can our communities do better when it comes to supporting mothers?
Mm-hmm. I think just asking what is needed, or how can I support you, and just kind of showing up, but not showing up, if that makes sense. So every mom is different. Some people really want like a lot of people around to, oh, I'm gonna, show up at the house and I'm gonna clean up. I'm gonna do this and that. Ask mom what would be the best help for her. So is it just, I'm just gonna drop some stuff off, on the porch, and you don't have to interact with me? Um, just holding mom instead of just being worried about holding the baby. What can I do to hold you if you do allow me to visit? What can I do to support you? What can I offer you? And just kind of believing moms when they say that they are overwhelmed, not judging them, and just, just even, I saw recently there was I don't know what they really called it, but you know how you do a baby shower and you get all the
Yes.
gifts for the baby, but like a shower for the mom, for just like the things that she needs. I would love to see more community mom showers where it's just like, all right, here's a list of things that she needs, and we give all those things to mom, and just be there. A meal train, like I set that up for my little sister. So it's like, you don't have to worry about getting groceries. Okay, let's sign this up. You guys do DoorDash this week, so just that there's something that, one less thing off of mom's plate. Just think around things like that. What can I take off of mom's plate that doesn't have to do with me being in her face, But if mom
Right.
wants in her face, get in her face, especially if you feel like she's kind of struggling. Get in her face and are you okay? Are you okay? If you're not, all right, we're gonna make sure you're okay. Stuff like that.
Yeah. I would even say, and I think that goes all the way up until that child is 1, maybe even 2, like not just that little cutesy baby, oh, like when that baby 2, you good, mom? You all right? Because it's all
Yeah,
a lot of work.
this is true. This is
And
true.
I
Even
think
now, mine are 7 and 11, and some days it's like I'm tired. Like just someone help.
exactly. I see Dr. Melanie said it's so sad all the loops we go through for simple proper care. Yes.
Yeah.
And then the mother showers is as well.
Mhm. We're going through the same thing. I have a little dry cough. I'm trying to hold it in. Sorry. Oh, yeah. It's
Child,
the
we
winter
gonna make
shade.
it.
Yeah.
We almost to the end. We gonna make it. Any closing thoughts for you that you would like to share? How can people get in touch with you and give more information about your business and whatnot?
Well, just closing thoughts, thank you for having me on. And people can get in touch with me. They can go to my Instagram at Gracelamp Wellness. If they want to email me, it's Francia at gracelampwellness.com. I actually have a motherhood grief support group that's starting tonight at 7:15. If there's any moms that are grieving anything, they can hop on, go on my website and register there. I have a mommy wellness in-person group on April 4th. We'll be doing that in Torrance. So, if you want to get in touch with me, you can DM me, you can email me, go to gracelampwellness.com. You can find out more about me. And just thank you for having me. And I pray that everybody is blessed and well this evening.
Thank you so much for joining. We're going to take a commercial break and then we're going to wrap up. See you in the few.
Thank you.
What's going on, y'all? It's Kwame Speaks from Kwame Speaks Live, and you're watching Pyro Media Network.
Hey, how y'all doing? Real quick, this is Daryl Walter, host of the Daryl Walter Show. I know. And you are watching Pyro Media Network.
That was an amazing episode. I will be bringing this concept back over the month, as we move forward, because I'm always meeting people. I mean, like that's just how it is. I already have somebody lined up for next month because I met them at a conference. So I'm just saying. All right, let me go ahead and do the doctor's notes and let's kind of wrap up our thoughts. I think the business that Francia has put together is amazing. Gracelamp Wellness. And it really speaks to this important thing that I've seen in Black women. Using your lived experience to make a difference in other people's lives. One of the most important things about that is it helps other people realize it ain't just me. No, it's not, babes. I'm going through the same thing, or I have gone through it, and I'm going to put a lamp like this, and we're going to walk you through it, right? I think that is so important and such a very strong asset to us as Black women, because I feel like we all inherently have that skill. Like, girl, I'm not finna gatekeep, and I'm gonna make sure you're good because I was in a situation just like you, and we're gonna make it out together. Love it. Also, a reminder of the importance of maternal mental health, something that I think is not talked about enough. We hear about postpartum depression, and I think that's kind of where it stops, you know? And so really, really important. And I love the services that she provides and offers to her clients. And again, she already shared where you can find her. So please take a moment, follow her on Instagram, go to her website, and get involved. If you know a mom or a mom on, you know, a baby on the way or whatever, get that person connected, okay? And thank you, Cyrus. I'll be trying to inform and educate the peoples. All right, y'all, let's get to the other side of it. You know where to find me. I have a fabulous website, www.NicoleDvick.com. You can see episodes of my podcast there. You can see me be on other people's podcasts. You can see all kinds of things there. My articles I've written, I feel like I've hyperlinked in there as well. My books are there. I have 3, Pushing Through, Finding the Light in Every Lesson, Push Through 52 Weeks of Light in Tough Times, which is a journal, and Triumph in the Trenches, which is an anthology. I'm one of 20 plus authors. There are now 3 versions of Triumph in the Trenches. I was in the first one. See, when you do something, I always try to be the first. So I was in that first edition, but there are now 3. I'm on social media. Listen, my LinkedIn is on point. I post 3 times a week, sometimes more. If you are checking my LinkedIn out now, I've done this series, and the final series is tomorrow about, you know, I didn't come into public health blindly. I lived public health before I actually got the graduate degree and began to practice, and how those lived experiences. See, I don't do things by accident. How my lived experience shaped how I do my work in public health. So go check that out. I did one on Monday, one yesterday, and then one tomorrow morning. Go post. I'm also on Instagram. Dr. VICKtorious is my Instagram handle, where I post all the episodes of the podcast and the clips of the podcast through the week. I think that's everything. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for watching, and my bad for coughing and everything. I'm just proud that I got through most of this without having a coughing fit. So we're going to call that a success. I will see you all next week. Take care. Bye.
Thank you for watching Pyro Media Network. For more information, please visit pyromedianetwork.com.